Welcome back. Oh, thanks. All right. Hi again. For those of you that weren't here before, I'm Christy Kerner, the director over in Phoenix and a regional director with Startup Grind. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing our next speaker. Jeff Hoffman, just like a lot of entrepreneurs, has a very diverse set of experiences that created him to become the person that was the man to do all the things that he did. Not the least of which was the fact that he was one of the co-founders and the CEO of Priceline.com. In addition to that, currently, not only does he tour the US, I'm sorry, not the US, the world, literally. He's out there actively mentoring and engaging and teaching entrepreneurs, trying to lift entrepreneurs all around the world. But he also, Sunday night, a music record that he produced won a Grammy. So this guy gets around, does a lot of good stuff. It is my pleasure. Get up on your feet and join me in welcoming to the stage Jeff Hoffman.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. I only have 10 minutes, and as you just heard, I'm doing this post-Grammy celebration, so we'll see how this goes. I did sleep a little bit. I have a few minutes to talk to you guys about keys to success for entrepreneurs, so I'm going to go quickly just over a few key points. But here's the first one, and it's one that occurs to me all the time, which is simply this: solve real problems. I see so many entrepreneurs working on things that very few people outside of them think is important, right? The key to success is solving a problem that everybody else recognizes as an important problem to be solved. And I notice that the way the best entrepreneurs do that, well, they do something that everybody else doesn't. When you go through life and you encounter a problem and something's frustrating, most people go home, say, how was your day? It was horrible. I stood in line all day. It's so inefficient. They complain about it, tweet it or whatever, and go back to their life. But here's what I notice about some of the most successful entrepreneurs. When they encounter a problem in the world, they stop and ask the following questions. The first thing is, does this bother anybody but me? And if the answer is yes, it seems to bother everybody, this is a real problem, then the second thing they say is there a solution that maybe I just don't know about? And if the answer to that is no after doing the research, entrepreneurs are people that stop and say, you know what, I ain't leaving here till I fix this. Okay, so I'll give you an example for me. One of literally my first startup when I was 20-something years old, back then there were travel agents. And you had to pick up the phone and call a travel agent to book an airline ticket. And I called a travel agent to book an airline ticket. And I said, I need a 4 o'clock flight. And she said, there's a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock. And I said, but I need the 4 o'clock flight. She said, there's a 3 on Delta and a 5 on Delta. And I said, ma'am, I think there's a 4 o'clock on American. And there was a pause, and she said, okay, fine, there's a 4 o'clock on American. And I said, what do you mean, okay, fine? You didn't read me the options, and I know why she didn't. Because she makes more money by me making a bad choice. She's commission-based. So I asked everybody, I was irritated. And I said, does it bother you that you don't know what they're reading off the screen, and you don't know if you're getting the best ticket or the best price or planning travel? And everybody said yes. Then I asked people, is there some better way? And everybody said no. So that was my first startup. We launched a company that created the first online booking systems in the world. In fact, later our team did a deal working with Microsoft that became Expedia. We built the technology to solve a problem that we experienced, that everybody else had, and everybody seemed to recognize was value. You know, along those same lines, I remember one time, I'll tell you what our second product was. I was at the airport late, and I got in the line to get a boarding pass, and the boarding pass line took 55 minutes. And when I got there, I gave her my ID. And she hit one button and printed a boarding pass. I said, are you kidding me? I stood here for an hour so you could print something? And she said, that's how it works. And I said, why don't you just put the printer right here and I'll print it myself? She said, doesn't work that way. So I turned to all the other people in line waiting an hour and I said, am I the only one annoyed at this? And everyone in line said, it's ridiculous. And I said, is there no way we can print our own boarding pass? And they said, no. This was our second product. With designed and patented boarding pass printers that you see at airports all over the world now. Solve a real problem when you encounter it by seeing if the rest of the world has that problem as well. We sold this company to a Fortune 500 company, and it was a really good exit, but it's because we solved a real problem that lots of people cared about. And I'll tell you something, we sold the company for a lot of money, and I was never, ever focused on the money. And when I hear people talk about, I'm in this for the money or I'm trying to make money. Here's what, in fact, it would bother me sometimes, VCs. You have a brand new company, you're 3 months old, and somebody says, what's your exit strategy? And you know what I'm thinking? What's your entrance strategy? You have nothing to exit. You haven't even built anything. Get an entrance strategy. So We've had multiple successful startups, never once focusing on the money. What we focused on was excellence. So my most important thing I can tell you today is don't chase money. Chase excellence, because money follows excellence. When you build something amazing in the world, you will get paid. Until then, it doesn't matter anyway. It's just a PowerPoint. Here's another one that I think is really important. So many entrepreneurs come to me and say, I have so many ideas. I got 6 different ideas. And I say the same thing every time. Get rid of 5 of them and do one of them. And they say, but someone will steal my ideas. Your odds of doing 1/6 of 6 things and achieving excellence are very low. Yes, somebody else will do the other 5, but guess what? You will have 6 more by the time you're finished with this one. Let it go. You don't achieve excellence by doing 1/6 of 6 things. You achieve excellence by finding something in the world that you can be the best at and being the best at that. And I think about it now. The other day I was in a store line and I asked some kids in front of me. I always do my research wherever I am. I said, you shop at Amazon? And they said, yes. And I said, what can you buy at Amazon? And they said, everything in the world. I said, how about books? And the kid said, books are lame. I don't think they sell those. And I said, first of all, everything you just said is wrong. And I said, you know what? I thought it was very amazing to me, because I remember talking to Bezos way back at the very beginning. Right? They always had the vision, and he always had the vision of the marketplace of everything. But did he launch that? No. What he did was win a gold medal in books. Find something you can be the best at. When you win a gold medal in anything, the world comes to your doorstep. They say, wow, you're really good at that. What else? We did as consumers. We said Amazon's the best e-commerce experience we've ever had, even if it was just a book. Sell me something else. I had the same discussion with Zappos before, right? That was sort of Tony Hsieh's and Zappos things. Ultimately, they wanted to be a marketplace of many things. But in the early days, they won a gold medal in shoes. We will be the best damn shoe seller on the internet. So be the best damn something in the world, and everything else will happen. Stop trying to do 6 things at once. You will not achieve excellence that way. This one's a pretty obvious one. You can't do it yourself. You are simply not as smart as you think you are. Okay, the worst thing that happens to some entrepreneurs is success. Because suddenly you see yourself on a magazine or in the news and you say, wow, I must be smart, right? They're talking about the way I did it. And that's the point at which you forget that the only reason you did it was because you had a good team, right? Hire people smarter than you in every single area that you're weak at. I saw an entrepreneur the other day reading the accounting for non-accountants or whatever it was. And it's interesting to know something, but I said, seriously, you're an engineer. You will never be an accountant. You will never be a finance major. You should not be managing the money at the company. Now, on the early days, you got no choice. You got no team. My point is, from day one, you should be planning to let go of everything you're not great at and find something to do. I'm a software engineer by trade. And one of my early companies, I was sitting writing code, and the guy said, Jeff, we need to talk to you, the developers. And I said, what? And they said, we need you to back away from the keyboard and go out of the room. And I said, wait, guys, I have a degree in computer science. They said, Jeff, you have a degree at sucking at computer science. They said, you are the worst coder here. I said, it's my company. And they said, do you want to win, or do you want it to be your company? You want to own 100% of nothing? So I found something else to do. You are probably good at one thing. Let people smarter than you do everything else, and don't try to pretend that you're not. I'm going to kind of close with just this. I'm just sort of here to set the tone today with this last piece. When I ask people, where do you develop your products? At your office. That's where you work. So when you're working on a product, you're working in your office. That seems to make sense. But recently I was doing this TV thing with CEOs, and the interviewer said, what's the first thing you do when you hear a good idea? And everybody said, I get my team when we go to the conference room. And I said, I get my car keys and I go to the parking lot. And she said, okay, explain that. I'll tell you why I said that. Years ago, I was sitting with an elderly gentleman. I was spending the day with this elderly gentleman who works in the retail business. His retail stores were very successful. However, they were counterintuitive. The experts said, everyone in the industry said, you can't do retail stores this way. It's a guaranteed failure. He did it anyway. So I said to this man, how did you know it would work when everyone else said it wouldn't? And he said, quote, he said, a farmer in a John Deere hat told me. And I said, okay, I got to hear this story. So we sat down and I said, tell me the story. And this is what the gentleman said. He said, Jeff, these are my employees. Okay, these are MBAs, really smart people. You need them to do logistics, supply chain stuff, etc. And he said, but these are my customers. And here's the problem. These people don't know these people. These people don't eat in the same restaurants. They don't shop in the same stores. So how is it you, looking like this, are building a product for those people? Okay? So I said to him, what did you do? And he said, you know what, Jeff? Every other Friday, I change clothes, I put on jeans and a John Deere hat, and I go to the diner and I buy apple pie for people. And I sit and spend the day just chatting with people. And by the way, just so you'll know, the guy I was having this conversation with was named Sam Walton. His company was Walmart. Okay, everybody said you can't build big box retailers in little towns, except the people who lived in the little towns told him exactly what he wanted. So you know what I do with my businesses? I spend time every other Friday where I go wherever the customer is. And by the way, sometimes people in the room will say, Jeff, I talk to my customers all the time. You talk to them in sales mode or service mode, and neither of those count. The entire dynamic is different when you're selling me something or I'm servicing a product. The only way to really listen from customers is just hang out. Go have pizza and beer, apple pie, hang out where they hang out. By the way, the Priceline customer, my own employees, all my friends, everybody I knew, when I told them what we were working on, said, that's stupid, I'll never use that, because not one of them was in the demographic. Our customer, which was not even my own developers or employees, was across town in a Kmart at the time, waiting for that little blue light to ding so they could knock over old ladies with a shopping cart. Unless you go hang out at Kmart and Walmart, which sometimes we did, and chat with people about their world, their life, their travel, that's the only way you can ever know how to build a product. So I'm gonna close with this last thing really quick. In the end, one of the best things about being an entrepreneur and the place where you succeed most is when you find something that we call your golden purpose. And your golden purpose is to find yourself at the intersection of these three things. Take an honest look today, whatever you're doing. Are you doing the thing that you are best at? Are you doing the thing that you love doing? And are you doing something the world values? When you hit a point in your life where you're doing the thing you're best at, and it is something you love doing, and it is something the world values, amazing things happen. I think we were successful because we kept circling in until we got to that point where we were in this golden purpose. If you're working on something that you're not the best at, you don't love doing it, and the world doesn't care anyway, find something else to do. Thank you guys very much for giving me a few minutes. Thanks.